Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
All right, everybody, welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. We got a big show for you guys today, joined by the con man, Michael Concesio. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing, Chris, man. Looking forward to having a good show.
Oh, yeah. Got Game 6 tonight, NBA Finals. Been a good final so far. I think it's going to end tonight. I think the Celtics lost their best chance to win the series when they didn't win that last game when Steph Curry went 0 for 9. Steph Curry don't hit a three-pointer in the game, only had 15 points. Don't get me wrong, he affected the game in other ways with his defense. He played pretty good defense, especially for him being undersized, but he also had eight assists that game. So even though his shooting was off, he still affected the game. Plus, when he's on the court, even when he's 0 for 9 for 3, you still have to pay attention to him. So that gets other guys good looks. But I thought that was the game the Celtics had to win to win this series. You can't lose a game where the best player on the other team has a bad night. What do you think?
I agree with you 100%. You know, they had their perfect opportunity to get that win, and they didn't take advantage of it because you know, Chris, that Steph's going to come out guns a-blazing. That's number one. And if you notice during the series, Chris, is that the team that has the most points in the paint and less turnovers end up winning. And also, if you notice, the Golden State Warriors, their bench has been very productive. Look who they come off the bench with. Now, if you notice, the Celtics are making their lineup to about maybe 7-8 players the most. Golden State, their players off the bench are proven to be fantastic. They're doing unbelievable things. You got Gary Payton Jr., You got Looney's doing this thing. You got Otto Porter doing this thing. I mean, I just think that the Warriors also they have the experience. You know, the Celtics are young, and I was telling a couple of people too that if you look at in the NBA history, not everyone, but most teams have to go through the pains. You look at the Pistons, you look at the Lakers, you look at the Celtics. The Bulls, they all had to go through the pain. They had to learn how to win. And right now, I think the Celtics have to learn how to win. And right now, with all the experience that Golden State has, it's going to be very tough. And I think that matter of fact, I really believe that the Warriors really want to win tonight in someone else's backyard. I think that's going to prove to be even more sufficient for them. And Steph's going to play better. Green's finally come out of his bag, although I think he's kind of wacko. But he does add a lot of defensive intensity. He brings forth the heat, the aggressiveness, and they kind of play off him. And plus, he's like the quarterback or the linebacker of the defense. And I think that's going to contribute to them winning tonight. And also, six-game Clay, as they call him, six-game Clay. Yeah. So, they got a lot of weapons, man. They got a lot of weapons.
Well, and then you had Andrew Wiggins, who he looked like the best player on the court in Game 5. He looked like the best player on the court in Game 5. He played a great game. And I said at the beginning of the series, I thought Andrew Wiggins would be the X factor in the series because his defense, he can play great defense, but he's also a guy that can give you 20 points on a night if needed. And he really stepped up big with Steph struggling. I I love it too because everybody was always talking about how he's a bust. I love it that he finally made was a starter on the All-Star team this year, and then to play as big of a role as he had in this finals. Maybe now people will back off of him a little bit and give him a little bit of respect because he definitely deserves it after the way he's performing here in the finals for Golden State.
And I agree with you again. He's a first round pick. Had a lot of expectations on him. He went to an organization in Minnesota that was discombobulated. They had 4 different coaches. And then, they had Jimmy Butler, who was calling Wiggins and the center there very soft. And that's why he wanted to leave. So his stigma was that, hey, he's a first round pick. We expect so much of him. And I think he had a lot of pressure put on. But by playing with Golden State, it's a perfect fit. He's not the first option. He's not the second option. And he might be the third option. I think that takes a lot of pressure off of him. And look what he's contributing. Not only is he scoring, he's rebounding at a high clip. And then again, he has to go play defense against Tatum. So, I was talking about earlier, I'm very proud of him, man. I think he's proven a lot of naysayers wrong. And I think he's going to have a great game tonight because they know they're going to come after Steph. They're going to come after Clay. He's going to have a lot of openings. And I like the way he's penetrating to the basket. I like the way he's doing defensively, offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds. He's just playing all around game.
Yeah, he had 15 rebounds in game 3 and game 4, and then 13 in game 5.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just I don't know how the Warriors do it. How they know what they're doing when they draft, and they have great player development. Look what Jordan Poole's became. And look at even the rookies have played in the playoffs. Some and have looked good. That was it Moody?
You got Moody. You got
Kuminga. And then look, next year we'll get James Wiseman back.
I know.
So I think they could even be, and I think they'll be better next year because you get James Wiseman back. Plus, Klay Thompson's going to be on his second year off that injury.
Correct.
And usually on a leg injury like that, it takes a couple of years before you get back to your best. So I look for Klay Thompson to be even better next year. So the Warriors could be better next year than they are now.
And isn't that going to be unbelievable? Like you said, they're going to come back. They got a young nucleus. They got the experience. They got the young nucleus. And another key, too, is that with Klay being out, Poop gained so much experience because he ended up being a starter. Yep. So when he comes off the bench, he's not going to feel that pressure because he's already been it. And I think he's going to improve. He had a couple of, not so great games, and, people coming down on him. But I tell you what, I think I'm expecting big things from him. I'm expecting big things out of everybody. Now, the problem with the Celtics is they are so much complaining about the officiating, and it's taken away from their game. I think they just got to just play through.
Especially Tatum.
I don't.
And I like Tatum. I think he's a great player, but man, every time he touches the ball or if he shoots it and misses, he's yelling at the referee about something. It's like, get down the court and go play.
Exactly. Because when he's yelling at the referees, the Golden State Warriors are doing their transition on the offense, and he said arguing with the referees.
Yeah,
that's proven the factor as well. The Celtics, oh boy, I don't know. I just don't see them winning tonight at all. I know they're going to come out. They're going to come out like gangbusters during the beginning of the game. I think if Golden State can withstand their punch at the beginning of the game, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I do too. I think the Celtics, to me, they're looking kind of fatigued. They played the long playoffs to get to this point.
Yes.
Yeah, I know they swept the Nets, but then wasn't like those were easy games.
Not at all. No.
And you had the Bucks. You go 7 games with, and I still think if Bucks had Middleton, Bucks probably win that series. But
I agree. Mm-hmm.
That's here and there. But then they had the Heat in a tough series there. So, and they had injuries in all of them series. So I think some of that's catching up with them. But I like Steph Curry. Steph Curry's been balling. I know he had that bad game. But I just think Golden State's the better all-around team, even though Boston has the advantage size-wise and probably even that athletically with some of the players they have. But something about Tatum and Brown, they go into cold spells too much, and you can't go 3-4 minutes in a game without scoring against the Warriors and beat the Warriors, because in that 3 or 4 minutes you could end up being down 20. But I think the Warriors are going to come out tonight and they're going to match the Celtics intensity, because I think the Warriors want to finish it off tonight. I don't think they want to go back home for a game 7. Because at
Exactly.
Game 7, you never know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Anything can happen in Game 7, so you want to get taken care of tonight. But so I think they're going to come out and be able to withstand that first punch. And I just don't know if they withstand that first punch, if Boston's going to be mentally tough enough to stay in the game, because like you said about complaining to the refs and stuff, the Warriors been able to get Boston kind of unfocused a little bit, complaining about the refs, looking here and there instead of just being focused on playing on the game.
And you know something too, Chris, the fact is, which people haven't really talked about, but the Celtics don't have a true point guard. They got Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year, and he is not a true point guard. And that's affecting, I think, their play as well on the offensive end, because you got a guy who's a point guard, played 40 minutes last game, and had only 4 assists.
Well, see, that's a good point, because look how many turnovers they have.
There you go. There you go.
And a lot of it's lazy passes by like Tatum or Brown, just like just stupid passes.
Exactly.
They don't have that facilitator like the Warriors have. I'm not saying he's a true point guard, but they have Curry because he can still score. But they also have Draymond Green, who can facilitate the offense and get everybody involved. Boston really don't have that one guy that kind of facilitates the offense and gets the offense going. I think they do too much of the isolation with Tatum and Brown.
Yeah, great. Well, way too much. And you know what the series has said thus far is if the Celtics have 16 or more turnovers, they lose.
Yep.
16 and under, they tend to win. So again, that's what and also the team that has most points in the paint have come out the winner. So I'm looking for tonight's game again. Who has the most points in the paint? And I'm also going to look at turnovers. That's going to be a major factor. The Celtics have a lot of pressure on them right now, and you know the way they've been making their turnovers, they may have even more tonight. Again, they don't have that true point guard. You know, you can go back to the teams in the past. They've always had most of the time they have a true point guard. Steph is not really a true point guard, but he can handle the ball. Yeah. He doesn't make too many turnovers. And plus, he's such a threat from so deep that he opens up everything else. And therefore, that's why Green does what he does. He can facilitate because he has so much space.
Yep.
You know, he can look for backdoor, pick and pop, pick and roll, cut into the basket. And I think he's going to be a factor. And as long as he keeps his head together and doesn't act up, I think they're going to be fine.
So I had Warriors in 6 from the beginning of the series.
Oh, you did, huh? Okay.
I'm sticking with that. But I think for Boston to win tonight, they have to slow the pace of the game down. They can't play the game at the Warriors' pace. They got to slow the game down, make it more of a half-court game, and I think would have a better chance to win. But if they just get into a run and gun type of game with the Warriors, you're not going to win that style of game because that's what the Warriors want to do. They want to play fast. And they were one of the fastest playing teams in the league. So I think Boston needs to slow the game down. I think that'd be a key for them tonight if they want to try to extend this series to 7 games.
I agree with you. The Celtics, at least they have to slow it down because if they don't, that's going to make things wide open for Clay's going to be going off. I think Poole's going to be effective from the perimeter. We already know Steph's going to come out crazy. So, again, that's going to open things up. And there's going to be a real problem for the Celtics to overcome that. And again, the Celtics are playing with a minimum amount of players in the playoffs. Pritchard hardly got any time. I don't think he's going to see too much time for him. They got White. He's been up and down. I think he's going to play a little bit more tonight. Horford is up and down. Matter of fact, they're all up and down. There's really no consistency in any of the players that thus far. I think the Celtics will come out, ready to go. I think they're going to give a tremendous effort. I don't see it being a blowout, but I think that, you got 6-game Clay, and then you got, look at the weapons you got. I mean, they got weapons. They got the bench. Wiggins is playing out of his mind. He got the confidence now. The players got confidence in him. He's got confidence in himself. Kerr got other weapons.
I was going to say, and they have a great coach. Steve Kerr, I think Steve Kerr's kind of underrated because a lot of people think, he walked into a great situation. Yeah, he walked into a good situation, but he's made that situation even better since he's been there. And like the other night, Game 4, sitting Draymond Green in the fourth quarter. Hey, some coaches wouldn't do that. But he had the guts to make that decision. It paid off, and a lot of coaches don't have that kind of respect of their players where their player would accept it, where Draymond accepted it, didn't make a big deal out of it. I don't think a lot of coaches in the league have that kind of respect from their team.
You're absolutely right. And also the fact that look who Kerr's mentors have been. Pop and Phil Jackson. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. You know what I mean? So he's learned from the best. And because of his resume.
And not only that, playing with Jordan.
Yeah, that didn't hurt. So, I mean, he's learned to play with the best. He's been coached by the best. And I think, him being a general manager, so he has all different aspects of being an NBA executive. And now him being a head coach, he gets the respect. And they had Klay Thompson on this morning talking about how he can relate to the players. He's a motivational factor. He gives them confidence. And he tells all his historical stories about, how he played with Jordan and all the teams he's been on and what they do, what they did when they were stressed out or when things weren't going their way, how they counteracted that. So he's a good guy that they can lean on his experience. So I think that's a major factor as well.
I'll tell you what, you have to give I'm going to say his name wrong, Aduke, I think is his name, coach for Boston.
Yes.
First season as a head coach, people need to give him a lot of respect, and people have to give Brad Stevens some credit for his first big GM thing was to hire a coach, and for him to hire a guy that turned out to be like this, a lot of people have to give him some credit on that. But Aduke's been awesome the way he's turned Boston around, and he's a former player, which I think helps. But you could tell that team has some respect for him. I think he'll have the Celtics fired up tonight and ready to play. I think it's going to be a good game tonight. And
also, he's also had a mentor, Pop, another one, Pop, and he was on the bench with the Nets the previous year. I don't know how much he got out of the coach of the Nets there, but yeah, he's performed very well. He has the respect of the players because he's been there, done that, and coming into a new situation, new environment, adjusting to the players that he has, a new offense, new defense. I mean, he's been stressing defense, all year long. I think they're doing a great job. And the Celtics, because they're young, the only player that, you could say is kind of a little old would be Horford. They got a nucleus. If they keep that nucleus together, I think the Celtics are going to be a team to deal with in the future. But right now, I think it's the Warriors' time. They have the experience, and I think they're going to definitely win tonight.
Who do you think will get the Finals MVP? I think Steph Curry will get it. I know some people was trying to put Wiggins in there after that game he had, but he had that one good game. Don't get me wrong. He's played good the other games. He had that one great game, I should say. But Curry, the first 4 games of the series, carried the Warriors. So I think unless Curry just had a terrible game tonight, I think Steph Curry will be the NBA Finals MVP if the Warriors win tonight.
Chris, this is the first year, and me, I've been covering the NBA. Well, I've been watching the NBA for 40-something years. This is the first year that I can remember so much emphasis is put on Steph Curry winning the Finals MVP.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're aware of this, there are only 11 people who pick the MVP of the Finals. And don't you know that they know all about everybody, Steph getting the MVP Finals because he's won every other possible award that he could get. And it's in the back of their minds. Like you said, unless he plays terribly, it's going to definitely be Steph.
And see, I thought he deserved it back when they gave it to Iguodala, but he didn't get it.
Yeah, good point.
So I hope he gets it just so people will quit. Because when you start talking about like maybe the top 10 players of all time or whatever, that's what people hold against Steph every time. Is, well, he don't have a Finals MVP.
That's true. That's true. That's very true.
Well, he should have already had one, but he was also the only unanimous league MVP. So to me, that makes up for not having the Finals MVP yet. I agree. Nobody else has been unanimous. But I want them to get it because this series, it'll be more that they won because of Steph, and they can't say, it was because of KD or it was because of this. It'd be because they won because of Steph. Because, like I said, the first 4 games, game 4, what do you have? 43 points. I mean, he put the Warriors on their back. Yeah, he had an off shooting game. Even having that bad shooting game, like I said, he still affected the game.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you why, he played pretty good defense in Game 5.
Absolutely. He's
So, I mean,
underrated. He's
He had
underrated.
8 assists, so but him just being on the court frees everybody else up too.
Absolutely. And he's the type of person that he knows if his shot is off, he's going to do something to affect his team in a favorable way anyway. So he's about winning, and his career.
I think he's going to go off tonight. I don't think he's going to have two bad shooting nights in a row.
I think tonight could be very. It could be. He might have one of them 43 pointers again.
Before we move on from basketball, there was another topic I'd like to get your opinion on. A lot of people are asking. I've been seeing that going around. Is Draymond Green a Hall of Famer? And to me, this is a trick. It's tricky because if you go by just like his stats, no, he's not a Hall of Famer. But if you go by his accomplishments and what he meant to the Warriors team in them championships, then I think he has a case. So to me, it's kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of back and forth on it.
That's a good point. But no, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to bring again. I'm gonna bring a little bit of history. If you guys remember that there have been 2 people who've been inducted into the Hall of Fame who have had terrible stats for the most part. And I'm going to name them. I'm going to name the first one, Ben Wallace, when he played for the Pistons.
That's true.
Yeah. And I mean, he was a great rebounder. He wasn't much of an offensive player. He made the Hall of Fame. And then we got to go with the one and only Dennis Rodman. His stats, if you look at it, besides rebounding, everybody knows what a great defensive player he was. So a presence has been set. Draymond Green, at the beginning of his career, I mean, he was obviously more of an offensive threat. Coming out of Michigan State, he was a big-time scorer. He averaged over 20 points in his collegiate career.
Yeah.
He comes to the NBA. He just found his niche, and which is right now playing defense, being aggressive, and being the facilitator. He's a great defensive player. Wow. Do I think he'll get in? Again, because the precedent has been set. He'll be, a 4-time NBA champion. They look at that. I think he's going to get in. Do I think he should? Wow. Now you can go the other way. Robert Horry got 7 rings, and he hasn't gotten in yet, if I recall. So you can go back and forth either way. I think he's going to get in. I think because, especially now, because it's fresh in everybody's mind if they win, I think that he'll definitely get in.
Yeah, I think he'll get in just because of like what you said about Rodman and Wallace. And I think if you look at Green, he's real comparable to Rodman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I see him getting in. But if you just look at his stats, like if you didn't see the name and you just look at his stats, you'd be like, nah, that guy's not a Hall of Famer.
Not at all.
But when you put the rest of the story into it, yeah. I mean, you're a 4-time champion and you had a big part of that, not just like you were there for the ride, you had a big part say in it. So that's why I think he will get in. But I thought it was a very interesting question though, because
it is.
I mean, what plays, what do they weigh heavier? Your contributions to the team or what's written on paper? You know what I mean?
Those players that you talk about, their stats are not very good and they're not Hall of Fame worthy. Then you got to look at, okay, most of them players probably didn't make as much of an impact.
Yeah.
That he does. The impact, I think, if people just look at the impact that he makes on the offensive end, because being the facilitator, setting things up for everybody else, and then being the linebacker per se, or the quarterback of the defense, again, it's the impact. I think if you ask Coach Kerr, I think if you ask the players, they'll tell you how much of an impact. Yeah. So it comes down to, you can go by numbers or you can go by impact. You got people who score all kind of points. I'll give you a prime example. Again, I'm going to go back a little history. Mark Aguirre averaged 28 points a game in his career. He's not in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? But then again, he didn't win the championship. So you go by, Green might win his 4th tonight and the impact. So, I mean, it depends on those 11.
And that's why you can't just go by numbers. That's why you have to look at everything because of the impact or of what that player meant to that team.
Exactly.
All right. Damon Hernandez says that if the Warriors win, Puller Wiggins deserves the MVP more than Steph because they have done more than Steph in this finals and in the playoffs and Steph.
I disagree with Damian. I'm sorry, Damian.
I don't know what series you've been watching. If it wasn't for poor Wiggins, the Warriors wouldn't be in the playoffs or in the finals.
Well, I can answer that question.
You can say that about any team.
Yeah, the Damian. If it wasn't for Steph, why do you think their offense is so wide open? He makes it available for those players to have more spacing, more ability to drive to the basket, and they're concentrating on Steph. They're going to be concentrating on Clay.
When
so
Steph
by them just being on the court,
when Steph gets the ball, there's at least 3 players around him.
Exactly. So that sets things up for Poole and Wiggins. I guarantee you, ask Poole and Wiggins, they'll tell you.
Yeah, Steph should be the MVP of this finals.
Oh, there's no doubt.
The Warriors wouldn't be where they're at if it wasn't for him. Them other guys have been big contributors.
Yes.
If it wasn't for Curry, them guys wouldn't be getting the shots that they're getting either.
Exactly. That's without a doubt. He sets things up even when he's having a bad day, because you never know. All it takes is one, and he can go for 5, 6 in a row, and boom, boom. So the Celtics know that, and they're gonna probably be rushing at him with 2 or 3 plays tonight because they know he's going to go off tonight, which is again going to open things up for everybody else. It's going to open up the lane. Green can be able to facilitate. Again, he's going to be watching players pick and roll, and it's going to be dangerous. I think the Warriors are going to be primed for a win tonight.
What do you think the key is for Boston to get a win tonight and force a Game 7?
Very simple. Again, I said it before. 2 things. I think number 1, turnovers.
Yep, turnovers. That's what I was going to say.
Turnovers are a major factor. I mean, that is key. And when you got your major players having the most turnovers, that is very debilitating to the Celtics. So they have to somehow minimize their turnovers, and they have to somehow become more of aggressive. And I'm going to keep it honest with you. Tatum's got to play better. I mean, he's playing well. I mean, not as good. He's getting a lot of heat because he's been so inconsistent. And when he made that remark, which is coming back to haunt him, when he said, well, who said that I'm a superstar? Who said that? And I want to know who said that. So now they're taking that as he has no confidence. I disagree. I think he does have confidence. I think he's only 24 years old. Jordan didn't win until he was 28, 29. You know what I mean? You look at Jordan had to go through the rough spots. Magic only won when as a youngster. Everybody else you look at, they were after 24, 25.
Yeah.
Again, so he's only 24. So I think he'll learn from the finals. But to answer your question, they got to cut down on the turnovers, and they got to have a better showing in the paint, because the finals have proved the team with more points in the paint have come out the winner, and with the least amount of turnovers. So if they can calm down on the turnovers, try to get a little bit better shooting, somehow play better defense, stay away from the referees, stop complaining about the referees. I watch the game. I love the game. I just hate seeing when they keep yelling at the referee. If you're a baller, man, you ball. You can't come here and complain about every damn call.
Yeah, I feel like Tatum's doing that too much, and I feel like Draymond Green's doing it too much as well.
Absolutely, 100%. That takes away from the game. It takes away from the enjoyment of the game.
I think the keys for the Celtics. I agree with you. Turnovers. They need to attack the goal.
Yep.
And then the third thing is, I think they need to slow the pace of the game down.
I agree.
Get it more into a half court game. Don't let the Warriors get those transition points. And I think the Celtics will be in good shape, but they need Tatum and they need Brown both to play good games. And I don't know, like you said, Tatum's young. He just hasn't showed up like he has the rest of the playoffs yet. Right. And Brown's just not consistent.
Right.
That dude look like he's the best player on the court, and then the next game, he like disappears.
Now, Chris, I'm gonna tell you something. You talked about slowing the game down, and that brings up my point what I spoke about earlier. When they slow the game down, you have Marcus Smart at the point.
Yep.
This becomes a problem. That's what I'm talking about. So when they slow the ball down, Marcus Smart is not as effective as a point guard. So you're right. They should slow the ball down. But I think if they had a real true point guard, it would be a lot easier to do. That's my belief. I don't know.
So with that being said, do you think the Celtics are better at trying to play a faster play since they don't have that true point guard?
I think they're going to find a happy medium. I think they're going to know when to push and when to slow down. And also, if you notice again, and they were talking about that on a couple of shows, and I agree, the Celtics have played the same defense. They haven't done anything different. They haven't made any changes. And the coach has said, well, this is what we're going to do. This is what God is there, and this is what they're going to do. So Golden State's like, okay, Chris, okay, we're going to make our changes. Like I said, the game's about chess and checkers.
Yep.
Celtics playing checkers, and Golden State's playing chess. They're making the exact adjustments. When they lost and when they, Boston outplayed them, they said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Whereas it seems to me, I could be wrong, it seems to me the Celtics are sticking to what got them there. And so far, it hasn't really worked that well. Now, I don't know if he's going to make changes right now, Game 6. Is he going to make those changes? I don't know. But if he doesn't, it could be very detrimental to the Celtics winning tonight.
Yeah, and speaking of defense, you'll see the Warriors, they'll play different defenses. They'll go into a zone sometimes. Then they'll come back to man, or they'll play different defenses. And I think the Boston needs to do a little bit more of that. And
something, Chris, what I want to tell you and your viewers, what they're doing is a thing called the amoeba. I don't know if you're familiar with that. The amoeba, I don't want to tell you too many, but we played that in college as well. The amoeba, if you really don't know what the amoeba is, you don't really know how to attack it, because the amoeba comes in different forms and different. It's like a zone, but it's like a man. It's not like a matchup zone. It's not like it's take me too long to explain it, but that's what they're doing. And when the series is over, I guarantee you they're going to call. They may not say the amoeba, but that's what it's called. Fact.
And then let's talk a little golf real quick. We were talking about this a little bit before the show.
Yes.
You have the U.S. Open going on right now, and it's been basically overshadowed by the media trying to make it Live Golf versus PGA.
Yep.
PGA has suspended I think it's 17 or 18 players that have left the PGA to go over there and play and Live, and anybody that played over there they've suspended. But them players get to play in the U.S. Open because it's not a PGA event; it's the USGA.
Yes.
So a lot of them players are here at the U.S. Open, and if you talk to most of the players on both sides, don't have nothing against each other.
No.
You had one player come out, Rory McIlroy, kind of came out and called them guys out, said they took the easy way out. Well, hey, if the easy way out is going to pay me more than what Tiger Woods made in golf, I'd probably take the easy way out as well. But I think the PGA I think this is good for golf, honestly, because hey, more golf being played, that to me that's better. Plus, things are always better when you have competition. And the PGA has been a monopoly for so long that I think they're just mad about that more than they are anything. I think eventually they'll let them players come back and play. I don't think they're going to keep them suspended forever. I think if they do, they're just hurting themselves, because you want some of them big name players on your tour as well. And I don't know. So some people like me, to me, it's just the PGA crying because they're not going to be a monopoly no more. So if you get people thinking like that, they might not watch PGA no more. Now I will, just because I like watching golf on TV. If there's a golf major on, I watch it.
I hear you.
Especially when Tiger was playing. I love watching.
Yeah.
Tiger is my favorite. I love watching Tiger. That's how I got. I ain't gonna lie. That's what got me in the golf and watching it.
Yeah,
now it's on, I usually watch it. And I like a lot of these younger players. And I watched that Live Golf last week. I thought it was nice. They only play 3 days, but I mean, they have some good players over there, but the payday is just unreal.
And I want to bring that up. We spoke earlier, Chris, you and I spoke, and you had mentioned what the purse was. And if I can can you tell me what the purse was for that tournament?
First place in that tournament got $4 million. Now, that's what it is in all the Live Golf tournaments. There was 48 golfers there, and 48th place got $180,000.
Well, to just make a comparison, the U.S. Open, the purse is $17 million. I think Liv is going to be paying a lot more than that. Yeah. And again, they say, well, these players are making so much money. How much money do they need? But I tell you what, they're giving a lot of incentive to these players. They play less tournaments. They make a lot of money. And of course, you're going to get heat because of where they're playing at. But at the end of the day, like we talked about Phil Mickelson, I don't think he owes anything to golf. I mean, he's been there for so many years. Like he said, he gave his all And sometimes it comes down to what's best for you. I mean, he's going to be set for. He's already set for life, but he's taking a lot of heat. I mean, I can understand from both sides, but again, as you stated so eloquently, is that competition breeds competition. So now you got, they're going to be, they want it solely for themselves. Now it's competition, and that's what you want. I mean, you don't want everyone one element or one entity taking over everything, because then it becomes a monopoly. Then it becomes all kind of things, and that's what hurt pro golf in the States.
Oh yeah, and if you keep all these guys suspended, because there's going to be more guys that once one person goes over, more guys are going to follow, and that's what happened. Dustin Johnson resigned from the PGA and went to the Live, and then next thing you know, 17 guys have.
Imagine that, right?
And there's going to be more trickle through over there.
Absolutely.
So eventually, I think PGA will lift those suspensions, and them guys will be allowed to play. But I just think it's going to be how long is PGA going to try to play hardball and suspend guys? But I think once more people keep going, they're not going to have a choice. They're going to have to unsuspend them, or they're not going to have no big names for people to watch.
And Chris, what it comes down to is leverage. Before they had the leverage because they were only showing town. Now they're not the only show in town, so therefore their leverage is going down. You know what I mean? So it's a tricky road to go with. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I hope they do what's best for pro golf. And you already know Liv's going to get more players, no doubt about it. Especially the persons that they're throwing out, less tournaments. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to
be. And you only play 3 rounds. So
three rounds, exactly. So, I mean, they're making a lot of things very enticing for other players to come there.
Yeah, they paid Dustin Johnson more than what Tiger Woods has made in golf to come over there. Hey, I'd go. You know what I mean? But I think it's good for golf. Rory McIlroy is in the lead of the U.S. Open. He shot a 3 under.
Okay.
I believe 3 or 4 under. And he's in the lead so far. But the guys that went out in the morning are going to have a big advantage because of the wind. The wind is starting to pick up. So
okay.
They got this afternoon group is going to, I think it's going to, of course, it's going to be a little harder for them.
Yeah.
But you have 3 guys tied for first at 3 under: McIlroy, Taryn, and Lingmer. So one person I know, Lingmer, McIlroy.
Yeah, me, yeah.
And even in the top 10, you don't got a lot of big name guys up there. So it's a lot of guys that I haven't heard of. But there's actually one guy I think is an amateur that's in.
Yes, I saw that this morning. Yes, I saw that. Now, what if any of those guys out of those 17 that have been suspended from the thing, what if one of them were to?
Oh yeah.
I'm just putting food for thought.
We were talking about this yesterday. I was talking to my dad about this yesterday. I said, if one of them live guys win this major, how mad is the PGA Tour going to be?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
They're going to be, and I mean, they have the potential. I mean, Dustin Johnson, if he gets hot, he has the potential.
Oh, absolutely.
DeChambeau has the potential if he gets hot. I'm trying to think who else is over here. Garcia, we've seen what he can do when he gets going.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
this could be interesting.
Or if it comes down to say it's one PGA guy, one Live guy going into Sunday.
All
Saturday night, that's all you're going to hear the media talk about is Live Golf versus PGA.
Imagine, that would be unbelievable.
But that's what I'm saying. It'll make it good for golf
because it'll make it great.
Because people that don't watch golf on TV regularly will hear about it and they'll tune in to see what happens just because the media is talking about it so much.
I will. You best believe I'll be tuning in right away.
Like I said, I'll be watching anyway, but what I mean, it'll draw new people in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people want to see conflict. They like people want to see that stuff. Even though there really ain't no conflict between the players, but the way it's Live Golf and PGA and the media's behind it, it'll blow up.
Imagine what it's gonna be like on Twitter. Oh my God.
Let's see. Andre, yep, tonight's game is in Boston.
Yes. TD Garden, yes.
Hey, we're doing good. Hope you're doing good as well.
Thanks, Andre. Appreciate that.
Did you see the Deshaun Watson press conference the other day?
Yes, I have. I've seen numerous interviews he's done.
What did you think? What did you think of his recent? What did you think of what he came out and said and everything? This is another one that's a crazy situation. It's hard to even, I don't know, it's hard to fathom because of new things keep coming out. So,
okay, here's my take, Chris. I don't think Cleveland did enough around of their homework. And what I mean by that, what they did was they opened up a can of worms because they gave this guy who is still under investigation, with the 24 alleged things he committed. Now it's up to 66, and how they allow.
And they say 2 more cases are coming.
So that'd be 68. So I truly believe for them to go and pay this guy $230 million guaranteed. Again, obviously the owners are going berserk. I think they didn't do their homework. And again, especially with the stuff still going on. Now, as far as his interviews, he still claims he didn't do it. He's totally innocent. And he's even put a rap song out about him, being innocent. And if he is, oh well, but you know something? It's just hard for me. 2, 3, 4, you may say people are in it for the money, but 24, now 66, could be 68. And then, the thing about it, the major thing I feel is that, again, Cleveland didn't do their homework. Not one of them people who did an investigation for the Cleveland side even interview any of these women. So to me, that is a big red flag, but at the end of the day, when has the Cleveland Browns been relevant? So what it tells me is that the bottom line is win, win, win. And their theory is if he does play and he becomes, because he was one of the best quarterbacks prior to this, if he does play and they win, people are going to forget. And then Stephen A. Smith, who a lot of people don't like, he made a great point. He said, you know something? Come the first game, NFL at Cleveland, they're still going to sell out. So you look at it from the owner's perspective, he just wants to win because they had been irrelevant for so long. And
if they start winning, if they start winning, there'll be less talk about this stuff going off the field.
Exactly. But his interviews, he did comment about all the sexual abuse or sexual assault of women. How he regrets it coming out like that. So you got to give him that. But it just seems like either he really believes that he didn't do what they say he did, or he's just not coherent as to what's going on. And then his attorney, I don't know if you heard about that, he put him out on blast saying that, well, it's not really illegal. Right then and there. And his agent, it was his agent that said, well, it's really not illegal. That set everybody off. So, I watched his interviews. He seems to be saying all the right things, but again, we don't know when the decision by the NFL. I heard their investigation is complete now. That it's going to a third party, and they're going to make the determination as to what the sanctions will be, and hopefully, it works out for everybody. But I don't know. What do you think?
Man, it's a crazy situation because 2 grand juries didn't indict him.
Correct.
That's what makes it crazy to me, because you think all these women came out that they would have had enough evidence that the grand jury would have filed charges.
Great point.
I think for this many women to come out, he's had to have done something. But also, if the law, you take it to 2 grand juries and they don't think you have enough to prove this guy's guilty, I understand the civil side. Now it's going to come down to basically money on the civil side. But so what's the NFL going to do? But you have seen the NFL punish guys that were in the law didn't. So right. I think he'll get a suspension. But I agree with you. I think the Browns didn't think this all the way through. I think the Dolphins are over there jumping for joy that they didn't go get Watson like they had talked about. But he's practicing with the team right now, so I guess he's allowed to play until the NFL makes their decision.
Now,
I would think they'll make it before the season because they want
yeah,
this. They don't want this lingering into the season. That all
no,
it's getting talked about is Deshaun Watson. That's not what the NFL wants.
no, because it's a bad look on the NFL. But here's my take, and again, I don't know all the things that go along with it, but it seems to me those first 22, and then the other 2, which added up to 24, allegedly, Watson was gonna settle with these individuals. I think they were going to get $100,000 each, if I'm correct. And soon as that happened, you get 44 more coming on. I'm just saying. It sounds. Soon as it was alleged that he was going to pay those 22 or 24 with $100,000 each, and then the next day, boom.
Well, and the New York Times put out the 66 number. But to me, okay, the New York Times put that out. Where'd they get that from? Because no other you didn't hear it from no other place. You know what I mean?
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct.
And I'm not saying they didn't do anything, but you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty.
That's true.
And now, even if he's proven innocent and nothing, his reputation has already been ruined.
Like,
there's still going to be people that believe that he done it, even if you know what I mean. So his reputation's been ruined no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what happens, like when it's a big case and everybody's looking at it and they're coming at you, but then if you're found innocent, there'll be a little piece. Oh yeah, he was found innocent. Yeah. Just a little piece. Yeah. Where now it's so much blown out of proportion. But if it comes out that he, is innocent,
you won't hear hardly nothing about it.
You won't.
But if they find him guilty, you're going to hear about
Lord
it
have
for
mercy.
a long time.
Now, if he's found guilty, now it's already in his. I don't think it's even if it's in his personal conduct clause whether they can get some of that money back. I know it's guaranteed, but can they do it with a personal conduct? Because it's usually in every professional athlete there's a personal conduct.
From what I heard, if he gets he gets suspended and don't get to play, he gets it's still almost like $40 million that he would get because of the language in his contract.
Okay. I mean, he's going to get it. Either way, he's going to get a lot of heat from the people in Cleveland. But he said he wants to really go out there and be part of the community, and it's going to take a hell of an effort to I don't think it'll change people's minds, but at least to have them have maybe I don't know, food for thought, maybe, because he claims he's going to be really part of the community. He's really going to fit in. He's going to really do it. I hope he does. I hope if he's found, if it's true that he did it, then he should suffer the consequences. If he's innocent, let the man play. But I think he's probably going to get a 6 to 8 game suspension. I would think around that thing as well. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. But what do you think the Browns are going to do? Because you already alienated Baker. Baker wants a trade, and the way the Browns have talked, Baker's not their backup plan. The Browns are basically saying they're going to start Jacoby Brissett before they start Baker Mayfield if Watson gets suspended. So, and the Browns still haven't traded Baker. Me, if I'm the Browns, I try to repair that relationship with Baker to try to get Baker to be your starter. But it don't even look like they're going to do that. Something had to happen between the Browns and Mayfield for them to fall this far apart so fast.
Again, you brought up a great point, Chris. First of all, they need to do something because they're already paying Watson $320-something million. Mayfield's guaranteed $19 million. So from what I'm hearing, a lot of teams want him, but not at that price. But if I were the Browns right now, I mean, Jacoby Brissett, he's had quite a bit of experience. I mean, he was with the Patriots, he was with Indianapolis. He's had some experience, but if you notice, and I know you do, Mayfield played hurt damn near the whole season. He played through injuries. He had a surgery. He's probably close to 100%. Given the fact that he had a bad year with all those injuries, he's healthy now. I don't know. He might be. I mean, of course, he's hearing all the backlash, and from Cleveland. And he don't want to be there. They don't want him there, but he can't go nowhere else because he has a guaranteed contract, and people don't want to pay him that money. So Cleveland has two options: they either keep him, well, really, if we keep him, cut him, or pay. If he goes to another team, they're gonna have to pay a substantial amount of his guaranteed contract. Those are the three options. Which one they take, I don't know. It's early. I'm sure something will be done before the season. I'm here in Carolina, but I don't know. But
that's where I've always thought he would end up, would be Carolina.
I would think so. I think that would be his easiest route. And something, it gives him a new outlook as well. And you can remember, Mayfield, how many coaches did he play for when he was at Cleveland? I think it was, what, 3 or 4?
Yeah, 3 or 4. He hasn't had no consistency.
No consistency at all. So you got to put that in the factor. The thing with Beckham and him, they had that problem.
That's why I didn't understand why the Browns moved off them so quick. You finally have a good coach in there with Stefanski.
Yes.
To me, give it a couple of years for Baker to have that same system. And that's why I think something had to happen that we don't know about for them to just fall, or they just must have fell in love with Deshaun Watson, I guess.
I think they just felt that, Mayfield was more concerned about doing his commercials, and they say he was much of a leader, and that, he needs to grow up. That's what I heard. I don't know how true it is, but that's what I'm hearing. But something tells me he's going to have a good year this year, wherever he's at. I think because he's healthy. If the injury that he suffered, man, was real. It was really, I got to give the guy credit. He played through that with it, his heart and soul. I mean, he did come off as being very arrogant. He did come off as all that. And but if you look at his career, it's beginning from his collegiate teams he played with, walk on, this, that, then he becomes the Heisman winner, the number one pick. I mean, he's had a great career. I wouldn't give up on him that easy. And plus, he's healthy. That's my take. A lot of people probably going to disagree with me, but he just had surgery, off-season surgery. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think the Browns messed this situation up. And they must have just fell in love with Watson, and I think it could set their organization back some years as well, depending on why his suspension is. Is he going to get suspended? I think it's probably going to be 6 games, but I'm hearing people say 2 years.
That's what I'm hearing too. I'm hearing a year at least. And what are they going to do then? And then the thing about it too, because of the conflict between Cleveland.
Good luck starting Jacoby Brissett, because we've done seen that before.
Yeah. And then again, the conflict that Cleveland and Mayfield have, how's he going to go back to that locker room?
Yeah.
That's going to be an issue.
Yeah, especially how it's coming out that the locker room is really behind Deshaun Watson and everything.
That's going to be so. I think, I don't know. They got to do something. They're going to make up the decision pretty soon, probably before camp ends. They got to do something, man, because right now it's just lingering on, and it's just creating more and more tension, more and more discontent, and they have to do something.
Did you see where? Well, first, we'll just talk about this real quick. Yeah, I don't understand that, Yuki. Why did they change their word mark? They need to be worried. There's a lot more things the Eagles need to be worried about than changing the lettering in their logo.
I think so.
And because don't get me wrong, the Eagles made some good moves this year.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts turns out to be a quarterback, they're going to be good.
Yes,
I like the moves they made, but I mean, any NFL team has a lot more to worry about than changing the lettering in your logo.
Yeah,
if you're going to change the lettering in your logo, at least make it better. Have you seen it? It's terrible.
No, I haven't seen it.
I know why Yuki's mad. I'd be mad too if I was a fan of that team.
Yeah,
you change your logo, and if you're going to change it and make me buy new gear, change it for the good.
I agree. Again, but I don't think that's really top priority. But I mean,
yeah. The old Eagles were marked as so iconic. Why go for a modern look? Yeah, that's how I am. That's what I agree too.
I'm old school, man. I like old school, so I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
But did you see where Tyreek Hill said that Tua is more accurate than Mahomes?
Yes, I think that Tyreek Hill should be acting with Tom Cruise because how are you going to compare Tua to the man Mahomes? Mahomes is the one that got you that Super Bowl. Now you're going to say that based on Tua passing it to you during voluntary workouts.
Yeah, with no defense coming out.
No gear, no defense. How can you? Now, I know what he's doing. He's trying to build up confidence in Tua. I applaud him for that because he's coming from one of the best, if not the best, quarterbacks to a situation right now where Tua is under the gun. And I guess he wants to instill some confidence within him. But to make that statement,
well, to me, Tua is already under a lot of pressure.
Yes,
if you don't perform this year with the weapons they brought in, a coach they brought in, he's going to be gone. And to me, Tyreek Hill is just putting more. Understand what he's doing because he's trying to build some confidence in his quarterback, like you said. But also, I think he's putting even more pressure inadvertently on Tua because the media is going to come out and put out this report and everybody's going to talk about it. So I think inadvertently he's putting a little bit more pressure on his quarterback.
Absolutely, because you want to talk about board material. If that ain't board material, you ain't gonna. I mean, like you said, I think he put a target on Tua, but give credit to Miami. They wanted to put things around him to make them more legitimate and more because they already have a good defense. So by them giving Tua some better weapons, and of course Tyreek Hill is a major weapon.
Do you think Tua is a quarterback in the NFL? Do you think he's going to be able to succeed there in Miami with the weapons they gave him?
I tell you what, if he don't, he'll be gone.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think he will. I wasn't on the Tua train in college. I think he hesitates. If somebody's not wide open, he hesitates, and you can't do that in the NFL. And the windows are smaller in the NFL. And I just think it takes him a little bit longer to pull that trigger. And his arm, he don't have the worst arm, but he's not a deep ball thrower. He averages about 6 yards a pass. So he's looking for the short little passes, and he is accurate. But in the NFL, you got to be able to go down the field too. And Tyreek Hill's used to going down the field and playing with the guy that can make some plays out of the pocket, like Mahomes, one of the best in the game. I don't think Tyreek Hill is really a good fit to a style of play.
And
unless you're going to run a lot of quick slants.
Right, the quick slants. And here's another thing. As a receiver, and with Tua being left-handed, the ball comes out from a different area. So they got to get on the same page because Tyreek's been playing with Mahomes, who's right-handed and does a lot of things off script. Tua, on the other hand, is left-handed, and the ball comes out your hand when you're a left-handed quarterback as it does to your right-handed quarterback. So it's going to take him enough time to get accustomed for Tua to play with Hill and Hill to be able to catch those passes that Tua throws. It's just like pitching. Pitcher throws with a left hand is different than when a pitcher that throws with a right hand. So it's going to take that unique combination for them to get on the same page. Maybe they will. All I know, he's got the mark on Tua. Well, he hasn't had enough help. Well, now he's got the help. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, and he had a coach that didn't believe in him because Flores didn't want him. You
remember they had Fitzpatrick. They were like on and off. You know what I mean? So that didn't give him any stability as well. Right now, it's his team.
I think Flores wanted Herbert myself.
Well, yeah. So interesting. I think Miami's going to be a lot better. How much better? I don't know. I think. They're saying, well, the Chiefs are not going to be as good. I'm going to tell you right now, I think they're going to be even better because now they got more weapons.
Hey, Mike, that was the question Andre just asked. How good do you guys think the Chiefs will be? I see people saying they'll be last in the AFC. So you went right into the question.
I didn't see that. But so I think they're going to be because everybody was focusing on Tyreek Hill. Now I think the offense is going to be more spread open. I think you're going to really see how good Mahomes is because don't you think he knows this? I think he's going to perform even better. And they got a good some good wide receivers. But I think Mahomes is going to make those wide receivers who they say is nothing like Tyreek Hill, but 4 is better than 1 because you can concentrate on one and maybe not shut them down, but shut them off a little bit. But now you got 4 weapons. So it's going to open up the offense. And then the tight end is a beast. So I think, I think they're going to be able to utilize Mahomes' talents even more, even though they lost the world's fastest man, whatever. I think they're going to be better. I think watch out for the tree. I think they're going to be very good.
I think they're going to be good, but I think the Chargers are going to win that division this year. I really do.
Yeah.
The Chargers got better on defense. They got Herbert some more weapons.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've seen people saying the Chiefs are going to be all the way down to the last in the division. I don't believe that.
No.
I think they're probably around second because I do think the Chargers will move up to 1. But that division is going to be fun to watch because the Raiders are going to be good.
Yes.
I think the Broncos are going to be good with Russell Wilson.
Yes.
They have a good defense. Now I think their offense will be better.
That's going to be exciting, man.
I mean, you could have three or 4 teams make the playoffs out of that one division.
Absolutely.
But I think the Chargers just made a lot of good moves. And if that coach can I like his aggression, but if he can just tone it down a little bit, I think the Chargers are going to be tough this year because
yes.
And Justin Herbert another year in the league, and he hasn't shown no signs of slowing down. So that's going to be a fun division to watch.
No doubt.
I know I'm excited for football to be back.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward.
All right, let's get the final thoughts. You have any final thoughts before we get out here for today?
Okay. I'm not going to give you my final thoughts. I'm going to give you my prediction. All right. I'm going with the Warriors tonight. I think they're going to win by double figures. I think Klay Thompson's going to be a major factor tonight. I think he's going to play out of his mind. I think Steph's going to go completely berserk. I think the Celtics are going to feel overwhelmed tonight. Even though they're home, they're going to play their heart out. But I think Golden State, again, major factor. They got the bench. Right now, the bench is playing way better than Boston's bench. And they got more weapons. They're playing with a little bit more confidence as far as the bench is concerned. Steph and Klay are going to do their thing. You got Poole. You got them guys are going to be ready to go. Wiggins is going to play out of his mind. You got GP2. He's going to play great. Otto Porter. I say Warriors by 10.
All right. I like the Warriors tonight. I said it from the get-go, Warriors in 6, so I'm going to stick with it. Gridiron Yuki said he has the Broncos winning the AFC West.
Ooh, good pick. That's not bad at all.
He says Celtics. He also says Celtics in 7. I think the Warriors.
He's wrong there. Wrong there. Oh no, that ain't happening.
But appreciate you coming on. You're welcome, and hey, you're welcome to come on anytime. Just let me know. I'll send you the link.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And I appreciate everybody watching today. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern with another episode of the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Go follow us on Facebook, YouTube. Hit them subscribe buttons. ASAP has a lot of good shows from like 10 o'clock in the morning to about midnight. There's shows on the ASAP network. So come check us out. I'll be live here at 3 p.m. Eastern with my sports betting show. I've been hot here the last couple weeks on baseball. So come join us for that. But thank you everybody for joining, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces.